Hey everyone, we are back with a different type of video. We are now at a storage unit guy sale. You guys have heard me mention his name many times, or at least I refer to him as this. Here is one of his sales. He is a guy who buys storage units. His sales can be crazy. We actually got to this one on a Saturday morning, fairly early. He wasn't even finished setting up. You'll see some of the tables weren't even full, but he invited me. He wanted me to come check out some stuff. He knows his stuff. He definitely charges a lot of times, but I usually am able to find a big haul of stuff almost every time I go. At least a couple of these black bins full, and we try to make a deal on everything. So I noticed a bunch of this like kitchenware type stuff. It's all look appears to be brand new. I looked it up, and there were some comps for this particular artist. Something by Tara was her name, or something like that. I spent some time looking them up, but I really just hate selling breakables. Even though I've had pretty good success selling them, I just, for whatever reason, it's not my preferred thing to sell. So I saw some value. I thought about coming back and trying to get them later, but ended up passing on those. Here's a box of train stuff. I'm always looking for trains. I do pretty well with them, but it was mostly just odds and ends. A couple of train cars. A lot of them were broken, and he said he mentions to me while I'm looking at the box that he wanted a pretty good penny for him. He just told me also though, if I'm interested, he has boxes and boxes of books up here. He's wanting me to take a look. Just to be clear, the reason that we are doing a voiceover here is because he does play a lot of loud music while we're there, so I can't really have that going while we're doing the video. We're going to copyright strike. So you guys unfortunately have to listen to my voice. So he says he has all these books, and as you can see, this whole back section is full of books. And sorry, my Cowboys lanyard there is hanging. I didn't take it off. Usually I put it in my pocket, but got a little excited. And while we're here, there's a lady who's actually bringing over more and more boxes of books. And even after I leave this book section, she's still bringing books. Now, I don't have a haul at the end because there's just too much footage, anyways, and I forgot to do a video. But I'm kind of digging through these books, trying to find some of the gems. I'm looking for Bibles. I'm looking for yearbooks. I'm looking for car manuals. I'm looking for sets of books, a bunch of books by one author. I'm also looking for textbooks, things like that. Here we find a bunch of Greg shorthand. And I actually end up getting these books. So I'm going to pop a couple of screenshots, hopefully, on the screen. I even got that Betty Crocker book. I'll pop a couple of screenshots of some of these because we do end up getting. Actually, we buy all these books that you see here and a bunch more in a big deal, and some of them are already sold. So I'll try to pop them up on the screen. So I grab all those Greg shorthand ones. A couple of those have already sold. That Betty Crocker is already sold, and I'm just kind of digging through and looking. I know books aren't fun for everybody. Some people are kind of not really worth your time, but as you'll see as I flash a lot of these books screenshots on the screen, we've already sold a bunch and just really easy to pack and ship. Not much to take a picture for, so definitely worth your time if you're willing to deal with something that might not be as exciting as say video games. That's my father-in-law over there. You'll see him in the video throughout. He brought me this bucket to start filling up stuff. He knows he's kind of like my wingman when we're here. He does a great job of finding stuff as well. He's got a different eye than I do, so a lot of times he'll find stuff that I miss or I may have overlooked, and he's also there to make sure I keep a good head on my shoulders and I make a fair offer. I don't overpay or whatever. He's like there to kind of guide me if I get a little overwhelmed or whatever. So we're kind of digging through all these. At this point, obviously, we haven't bought all the books. I'm just planning on just kind of looking through and trying to find some good ones. So there's a lot to look through. I'm not going to make you guys go through all of this. I will say that on the books though, most of these ended up being um, cookbooks, exercise books. There's a lot of Christian Science books as well as other Christian books in here, Bibles. We found a lot of self help. Unfortunately, a lot of it's older self help stuff where they just made a bunch of new versions, so tended to not be too valuable. And there were some other like Harvard Classics set, which we'll see. I'll probably pop that on the screen. That one actually sold already. Here's I jumped to these books. I actually got all these continuity of the Bibles. They sold I think for 30 shipped already, so I'm showing those. I dig through a bunch of that stuff, guys, and then we kind of get back into the other stuff. This is where the fun part is digging through these boxes. He's basically gone ahead and pulled everything he thought was valuable. So this is where I get to find the gems. Here's a little JanSport with a leather bottom, not a corduroy, but it's an older one with a leather bottom. That already sold, I think, for 35 ships, so we grabbed that. I see Thomas the Train type stuff. I don't really like selling all the track little pieces, but I was hoping to find some trains, but there were not any in there. I actually went back to that box later, still couldn't find them. My father-in-law found some stuff, some Bible books, some different stuff there. I'm still kind of looking to try to find some stuff. We do end up getting a couple books pulled out of here, but I ended up not showing the footage because someone else approached me and they were kind of talking, and I didn't think they'd want to be in the video, so you're not going to see that part. But we grabbed some books. Hopefully, I'll flash those on the screen as well. I usually spend about an hour at this guy's sale. It's pretty big. Like you said, there's a lot of digging. It's not real organized, so it's a pain in the butt in one sense because you never know what's there, and you really got to dig to find some stuff. Um, the positive side is he's pulled out what he thought's valuable. So what you do pull out of the generic, I call the general population bins, you end up sometimes finding some gems. Here's an old fan. It's a Lasco Air King. It appears to be brand new, but I wasn't sure on the tape. So there's some tape there, and the other one looked like it had been kind of been open and reapplied. So I asked him if I could open up the tape just to see if it was new inside, and he said yeah. And I got some gloves on here. One already ripped. I usually wear gloves. These are like thicker gloves. Just because I'm digging in these boxes, I don't really know what's in them. So a lot of times I'll wear gloves. Every once in a while I'll forget. Nothing's ever happened, but sometimes it's some dirty stuff sometimes in the box. So you never know what's going to be in there. So it's more of just a safety thing. And here I show that I struggle with opening boxes even with two hands. My father-in-law comes over and gets a little thing because I couldn't get the tape off with the gloves. But if you look at that fan's brand new. I know my gloves covering it, but it's actually brand new in there, never been taken out. So we grabbed this fan as well. Yeah, it's an old vintage fan, not worth a whole lot if it was used. But I figured, you know what, maybe someone will want it. It's in the box, got the cool artwork. So we end up throwing this in our pile. And then I see it. You probably saw it in the corner there, a little Orvis reel. It's a fly fishing reel. Orvis is a pretty good brand. A lot of people sell the clothing there, but I've done really well on their fly fishing reel. They sold this one and another one ended up selling with like a week of each other. This one sold for 135. It's in the case there. It's actually a box with it as well. It looks almost brand new. And like I said, it sold for 135 in one day. And hopefully I'll put the screenshot on there for you. I also found this little lion figure or something. It's from the 2000s, I think. I usually grab action figures if they look odd or something different because sometimes they might be worth something. I think he might be worth like 20 bucks or so, but right here I'm kind of looking up that figure or the fishing reel or something. Unfortunately, guys, I do not know everything. I still search a lot of stuff online. And here you can see the fishing reel in my hand, and that's already a pile of stuff we found. The clips might be a little bit out of order, so you might see some of that stuff later, but like I said, we build buckets of stuff here. There's actually a black box right there to the right full of video games. We end up getting all that, but that guy was there during that part. Here we go to a part where there were some gems. These are a bunch of Tippmann guns, paintball guns. I'll try to put some screenshots on the screen. Really good brand. He had a bunch of paintball stuff. I ended up getting all this Tippmann stuff. I started looking it up, and some of these comps for used guns were 200 bucks, depending on which one you had. Some for 100, 150, but I ended up getting, I think, four of them. And I also grabbed a paintball mask that was in the box and a hopper that was in the box. I didn't grab the other masks. They were pretty used and beat up. But there is one that hopefully I'll pop on the screen. It ended up selling for like 80 or 85 bucks. It was some kind of cowabunga, like Ninja Turtle looking strap. It kind of had the Ninja Turtle style on there, and it sold for 80 bucks or something like that. It must have been a rare one. So yeah, you can see all these. The Desert Tippmann A5s, I believe. I ended up getting two or three of those, plus another one. He had a couple other guns. One of them was really beat up and damaged. I didn't pick it up. And then these ones seem to be the most valuable, so I put them in my pile. I'm not really a paintball expert, guys, but I'm definitely willing to sell anything that has some money. There's another one there. That one's got the hopper on there and everything. So you got to make sure they work. So I don't have any what are they, little CO2 cannons or whatever to test them. So I have a friend though who messes around with paintball. So I'll probably have him take a look at them, see if they work, and then hopefully we'll be able to get those listed and make some money. Even for parts they have value though. My father-in-law found some Game of Thrones DVDs. He's going to throw those in the pile. I usually grab all the TV series and just kind of throw them in my pile. He doesn't charge me much for them, I don't think. At least I don't think he factors that into the price too well. So I usually grab them and then I'll build up little sets as I collect a bunch of them. So here I am with all the paintball guns, trying to sneak by, see what else we can find. And we start filling up another bucket here. So that'll be bucket number 2. I think we ended up filling 4 buckets full of general stuff, and then we got all the books. Here's a spicy shelf. And there's a Vans hat there I grabbed. The spicy shelf was brand new in the box. They're not worth a whole lot, but it sold for 20 shipped. So I ended up grabbing that. And I'm just kind of digging around in this box over here. I know it's a little bit off center, but I found the spicy shelf in there and the hat, so I was hoping there might be something else. I love selling new in box stuff, and this person had a couple of new in box items. That's a cool red, like kind of like a hard hat there. You'll see on the screen, they already sold as well. I want to say for like 80 to 100 bucks or something. I knew it was valuable. I knew the brand and with that style, but it was beat up. You can see it had a bunch of marks and scuffs, but definitely gonna pick it up, throw it in the pile, and because it was out in the general population, knew it wasn't worth too much. Here's the box I have right here that we partially filled up earlier. There's an Easton or DeMarini bat in there, not worth a whole lot. It's maybe a $30 bat. There's also a latch hook kit in there that already sold, I think, for 45 bucks. There's a couple more books in there, then my spicy shelves in there, and a couple other things, and we just keep filling them. My father-in-law just keep coming back, and he'll put stuff in my box. There's the video games we see. Tommy Hilfiger back, but there was an Xbox in there, two Wii's, a PSP, I think one Game Boy Advance, and a couple other things. But I noticed these rock and roll like DVD sets. Where there's Whitesnake, there's a bunch of AC/DC. There's Robin Trower or Trower. I don't know who that is, but I know that DVD sells because I've already listed it. I think I sold the Whitesnake one already, maybe for 12 bucks, but a bunch of AC/DC stuff. And I've done really well with these since I had that rock and roll buy. I've found that a lot of these DVDs sell not for a ton, but 8, 10, 12, 15 bucks. But here's the gem, Walt Disney Treasures. If you guys ever see these Walt Disney Treasures, of course, I gotta do a better job of getting it more in front of the camera, but there you go. There's a Walt Disney Treasures. It's all in there. It's complete. I think that one's listed for 80 or 85 bucks, and we got that. I just pile up all these DVDs and throw them in my box because they are definitely valuable. You can definitely make money, and I've had a lot of success on them. I guess people still buy them. They were all in there, which was great, and everyone loves Nickelback. We know that. That's a given for sure. I'm sure all of you guys are big fans. So I grabbed all those, throw them in the pile. Again, you probably saw earlier that we kind of already filled that box up, but I got the clips out of order a little bit, and I've tried to cut out some of the fat, so we're trying to find the pickups and stuff. There's Gone with the Wind. The DVD set's kind of gone up in price a little bit, given I think it was taken down from one of the TV series. So ended up grabbing that just because I don't think it's worth near what it was but going for in the past. But I ended up throwing in the pile with some more DVDs. And let's get on looking to other stuff and see what we can find. Let's see here. There's a Rolly kit right there, which you guys may have seen these before. They used to sell super well. Oh, I got these Vans. They kind of have like an older style look. They got like a suede style. I ended up picking them up, throwing my pile, and right after I put them in my box, this guy comes and asks where those brown colored or whatever color they were Vans are. By the way, I'm practically not colorblind, but I'm definitely not too great with color when it comes to it. So if I quote something to be a certain color, do not make fun of me because it took me almost to 11th grade to realize I had some issues with seeing things in color. So it was pretty embarrassing already. But yeah, this guy comes and asks for those shoes, and I'm like looking at him and thinking to myself, what shoes? And I look at my box and I'm like, oh, he must mean those ones. And sure enough, he did. He wanted to buy them, but I already grabbed them. The stuff usually on this front table, which is close to the door to this back building, is usually the stuff he thinks is the best. A lot of electronics, some of his good stuff he puts here, but I got another DVD. A lot of times I find that this isn't where I want to pull my stuff from because he's already considered it valuable. And by the way, in the far distance, you see that San Francisco jacket. You may have seen that a Giants baseball jacket. We did grab that as well. That was something we threw in at the end of the deal to make it work. There was a bunch of car parts there and stuff, but he wanted way too much money. He had looked them up, so no real value there for me. Here we go. Just kind of looking around, scanning. I ended up there were some toys in here, and I don't have it all in here, but I scanned some of them just to see there was some Ninja Turtle stuff, but none of them had any real value. I do grab the Lego set. It's not complete. I already looked it up, but it was full of Legos, so I figured I'd throw it in. I can always lot it together with a bunch of them that I have, and I usually lot Legos by the pound. So grab that, grab the Bionicle, and I found a digital camera. I always sell these Sony Cybershots. That little car to the right, I end up grabbing. The one to the left, I wanted to look up. By the time I got back there, someone else had already picked it up. So very foolish of me not to go back. I end up grabbing the white and red one and put it in my pile. And that thing goes for 50 or 60 bucks, something like that. But I was supposed to come back and look up this one, and for whatever reason, it slipped my mind. I'll be honest, the sale's a little overwhelming because there's a lot of stuff, a lot of people looking around usually, and sometimes he's talking to me and we're talking about stuff. My father-in-law's talking to me. I'm trying to not get too excited about everything I pick up because the more excited I get, if he sees me look everything up, then he knows what has value. If he sees me look on my phone and I throw it in my box, he knows it's valuable. So there's kind of a strategy to it to try to be, you know, a little bit cautious of what I give to him. So I don't want him to know everything that I know. He is pretty knowledgeable, but I know different things than he does, and I don't want to be paying too much for stuff. I got to make enough money, so I got to be a little careful about what I throw in my box and how I react to it and everything. Because if he sees me jumping up and down in excitement, he knows he's probably got me hooked for some good money. So we end up throwing these in here as well, and that's that box we had started filling up first. And I also threw the paintball mask in there. You probably saw the boxer. That was the one that was worth pretty good money. And we still got a lot to look around, a lot to see here. I think we're going over to the CDs next. A bunch of tools. I don't really mess with tools, but I do sell the chargers. But I only sell them at his sale if he doesn't have the corresponding battery and tool that goes with it. I don't want to be a jerk and just take all the chargers and then he has no chargers for his tools. So I just find ones that don't have them. But today I think there was only one Makita one or something. I always look at his DVDs. I do grab that Stephen King one, I believe. I put it down for a second, but he told me to look through here because there were more books. So we took the time to look. But I do like the DVDs. I've told you guys I've been selling a lot more of them, and they sell pretty well. The reality is, you really got to start knowing which ones are valuable and which ones not. Because, like anything, most of them aren't worth much, not even worth your time listing, but you can find some gems. And I found a couple in here. I do have to scan some. Some of them I know offhand, but I still have to scan. So this is usually where I'll kind of take a little break, stand here in the shade and just scan a bunch of DVDs. Not a bunch, but I'll probably grab 20 or so that look odd or I've never seen before, and I'll scan them and see if any of them come back and are valuable. There is one that I end up grabbing here worth about $50. I'll try to put it on the screen if I remember which one it was. It hasn't sold yet, but other ones I'm just grabbing, I'm just scanning, we're seeing what we can find. And sometimes we get lucky, you find a gem. One time my father-in-law found some DVD set about fairies or something. It sold for like 65 shipped within like a couple days. It was brand new seal. But now we're back into this is where he keeps all the collectibles, or what he at least feels collectible. As we've seen here, this place is packed. There's Coca-Cola stuff. He's got a bunch of decanters. There's kind of different glassware. There's cartoon stuff. There's a back room full of clothes and electronics. But this is where he tries to keep at least the collectibles or the stuff that he likes. I grabbed these Nikes here. I wasn't sure if they were legit or not. Actually, the sole's coming out on the bottom. I didn't realize it, but on one of them, it's coming out a little bit. So I got to try to put some like shoe glue and see if I can fix it. They're a super nice shoe though, and the comps are like around 75 to $100. But you always got to be careful with Nike. There's a lot of fakes out there, and you start to get better at seeing which ones were fakes. I didn't really look over these ones, and I haven't looked over them since they had the wear or the sole coming undone. So we'll take a look and see if they're legit, and if they are, we'll get some shoe glue and fix them. But he, of course, tells me all of them are real, but of course, he's just trying to sell me. So I don't think he's an expert on Nikes or anything. He's a really nice guy, but he's still a salesman. He's still trying to sell his goods, and he tries to spin them the best way he can. So I'm looking those ones up. You can see this guy's got a bunch of stuff. He's got some Casper cardboard, like from the movies, inserts and stuff. Not inserts, but like display pieces. He's got a lot of cool stuff that he's collected over the years. A bunch of little die cast cars. The challenge in this room, though, is once it makes it to this room, he usually feels that it's pretty valuable, or at least it's sentimental, or some kind of, he put some kind of price on it. So it makes it a little bit harder to get stuff out of here because he's already either looked it up or he feels it's worth something. So we do grab the shoes though. We're looking around. That's kind of his pile of junk he still has to go through. You can see in the back room there's a bunch of clothes in both those rooms. Um, Not all the clothes are valuable, but sometimes you can find something. This one also has a bunch of electronics. I mean, this guy's property is huge and he has a bunch of stuff. I've already looked through most of these electronics multiple times. He hasn't put a lot of new stuff back here, but sometimes I'll find like Sony Handycams and DVD combos out here. I'm just looking. The fan's on, so it's super. It was like 100 something degrees that day, so we kind of hung out in here in the inside with the fans for a little bit just because of how crazy it was. I have found a couple of like Elvis t-shirts and Madonna t-shirts and stuff out here too. That's a back room. That's kind of more of the generic clothing, so I don't really spend much time back there. He usually pulls out all the band shirts and stuff to see if we see anything that we might be interested in. And we're still looking around. We got to get to the rest of this room. We're kind of towards the end though, guys. So I want to go over what I ended up paying. So basically, I filled up 4 boxes. I got that box of video games. We talked about that. Here are a bunch of He-Man and Masters of the Universe figures, some Ninja Turtles. I do grab all those as well. And we filled up about 4 boxes worth of stuff. And he had quoted me $900 for the 4 boxes of stuff because I had all the paintball guns, and he said they're worth about 300 each. And I was like, no way, dude. I'm gonna walk away. I can't even make this deal. And he wanted 400 for all the books. And you guys didn't even see all the books. We took all the books. It filled up 2 SUVs, one like 2002 Chevy Suburban and a 2018 Ford Expedition. We're both filled to the brim with books. That's how many we took, how many boxes we got. He wanted 400 for the books, and I was like, no way. I'll give you 100 in all the books. And he's like, that's a ripoff. And I'm like, most of them are just trash, man. They're just not good. And we kind of went back and forth, and he had come down to basically 1,200 for everything out the door, and he threw in that Giants jacket, and I was like, no way, I'm still not going to pay that. And again, he showed me the comps of the Titman guns, and he's like, you're going to make 600, 700 bucks on 800 bucks, maybe on just the guns. And I'm like, yeah, but what if they don't work and I have to pay fees and shipping? And of course, we're kind of going our haggling thing back and forth. But we ended up coming to an agreement. I only wanted to pay 800 for everything. And you guys are probably thinking, Cameron, you're an idiot. You're crazy. Why would you do that? And the reality is, yes, I am crazy. I may be an idiot at times, so I'm not going to deny that either. But the reality is, there's a lot of stuff that you guys haven't seen yet that I picked up. Like I said, there were some parts where other people were there. Hopefully, I've shown enough comps to show we've made quite a bit of money. And the paintball guns are going to be quite valuable. Plus, the video games, you're getting 2 Wii's. When Wii's are selling really well, we get an Xbox, we get a PSP, a bunch of games. I think I sold a couple of games for almost $100 by themselves. I don't know if I put the screenshots in, but hopefully I remember to. We ended up getting a box of CDs in there, not this one right here, but a couple out there. So we got enough stuff, and we sold it on 950 for everything. So we still paid up. We listed over 2,000 in books alone. So what I listed in books was over $2,000 between eBay, my wife's Amazon bookstore, and what we got from Declutter. So that was over 2,000 in just the book stuff, which is pretty good since we spent 950. And then with everything else, I think we were already over $4,000 in listings, and I haven't touched the Titman guns, and I'm almost done with the video game stuff. So when it's all said and done, there's plenty of value here, but the reality is we're going to sit on it for a while. I hadn't bought from him in a few weeks, and I don't like to go too long without making a deal. I know this might seem weird, but I want to keep money exchanging hands with him because he's called me, and this is the guy that I've gotten all those shop manuals for $500. Those of you that know about decon, if you've watched my channel last year from like September on, you probably saw the decon, bunch of rat poison stuff. I bought cases of brand new decon from him, spent 900. We sold like 2,200 worth of just decon, something like that. It was crazy. Some of my best deals are from him. Those are a bunch of matchbooks, which I wanted to throw in my bin, but I told him no at first, and then I wanted to go back and get them, but I didn't. I probably could have made a few bucks on those. We actually did grab that die cast card. I think there's one more we grabbed and threw in the box at the end. The end of the sale, I'll kind of run through and throw whatever else I have back in it. But we spent 950. Yes, guys, that's crazy. I know for some of you it was an overpayment. I'm still comfortable with it. I think we've sold quite a bit already, and I haven't even touched the paintball guns, and those are going to be a lot of value. The books will be a little bit long tail, but there's enough profit there. And we ended up coming back the next week with this guy, and I think I spent 350, and I got a bunch of stuff. Or maybe it was not the next, a couple weeks later when he had his next sale. But I spent 350 and I got some gems. I think we've already listed 13 or 1400 from that lot, and we're not even close to being done yet. So that was awesome, and hopefully you guys will see a video with some of that stuff. But that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, let me know. I know the voiceover is different, but the reality is I can't really have the audio playing. It did take us a couple hours to load all the books up and everything, so it was a lot of work, but I think it was a good deal. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.